What up? What up, world? This is Ivan Bellman. I'm not coming at you. I'm not coming at anybody. I'm in bed. And I was going to clean it up and make myself look extra pretty. Because last one I was kind of not really with it. But then, everybody's doing that on the interweb. Like, if you want to look at somebody's perfect chiseled features or smooth buttocks, there's other pages for that. It's very pretty here. Oh, so nice. Can you see? Can you see interweb? So yeah, and I think it's gonna get cloudy. It's like you gotta make hay while the sun shines here, because the weather changes fast and it's supposed to get cloudy in like an hour or two. So I want to get outside and putz around the garden. But this is the third installment of Ivan's vlog of death, where I talk about the significant occurrences that happen. Well, they're significant to me. Not necessarily to you. This one in particular, I think, is not really a big, like, it just doesn't seem like a big deal. But maybe, you can judge me after it's over. I'm sure you will. I'm doing this because I would write these long, digressive emails uh, to this email thread, and I just got the impression that the people receiving them were dreading them. At least the younger set who doesn't know how to read, and I'm somewhere in between, and I don't know how to read or write. Hence these videos on the significant occurrences that happen on the first day, the third day, the seventh day, and the 40th day after my father passed away. Mouth is dry. Beverage. Um. Right. So this is like a Russian, Eastern European, Near European, Middle European. It's a running joke. See if you can catch it. So in that culture, first day, third day, seventh day, 40th day, all have significant occurrences. I looked it up at the time, and I don't really remember the specifics, but I do know that on the 40th day, that's when they think the soul leaves the earth, right? Ascends into the heavens or goes where it needs to go. uh, but yeah, that's the 40th day. That the soul is somehow present, and that there are these significant steps, in those cultures. So I did the day before my dad passed, and then I told the Quincy story, which happened on the day he died, and then this is the third day, and he died on a Thursday. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which falls on Easter, ironically enough, which has the numerology is affected by that also. Anyway, so Easter Sunday, my aunt and sister are going to church, and my aunt likes to go early because she likes to pray, and I'm trying not to use people's names, especially my family, because I'm trying not to out that, this is not about me sharing them with you or whatever so if you know me and you know them, then that's fine. But if you don't know me, then, and you don't know them, then this is not the way to introduce them to the world or to you or whatever. Anyway, so my aunt and my sister go to church, and I had scheduled this alchemy breathwork, woo-woo kind of like, I do a lot of deep breathing stuff, like mostly related to Wim Hof, cold therapy. Stuff is amazing. And breath is the seed of life. And so I had scheduled this thing online, and it was like a group breathe thing. And as I was doing it, it's this deep breathing thing, which can get kind of intense. As I was doing it, I realized that I was in my father's bed. Now, he had moved to assisted living for almost a year, but he slept in his bed a long time. And there's a whole story behind the bed. I'll tell the bed and the dishwasher story in another one when I talk about my. I think that might be in when I realized I was in hell, which is like a 4-part series I'm going to do someday. Anyway, so I do this thing, and I realize that I'm in my dad's bed, and the bed just, it's infused with his essence. Like it smells like him, his hair, skin, whatever. And but I didn't know this until I was like way deep into this thing, and I just had this kind of like really transcendental experience, very emotional. Obviously, I'm full of emotion. The passing of my father. So I'm deep in this thing, and then we do a gratitude thing afterwards, and I realize I am 30 minutes late to get to church. So I race over there, and the mass is almost over. They take communion. I don't take communion because, Catholics, you're supposed to go to confession before you, at least that's how I was raised, and I'm a very bad Catholic. And it makes me think the older set, that had the faith and had the rituals. I'm myself, I'm very close to becoming a born again Christian, if you can believe it. There's a couple of obvious hang-ups with it, lifestyle issues, but a life without faith for me is barely worth living. So I crave it now at the place where I am in life. What did Dennis Leary say? Nobody finds Jesus at prom. Meaning, like, you're not gonna like all of a sudden have everything going great and then turn to God. Mostly it's when you're in jail or wrongfully accused or rightfully accused or having really, really screwed up or been screwed. That's when he shows up. Anyway, so I'm there. The mass ends. They take communion. I do not. They pray. And then at the end of the mass, the priest generally stays by the door and greets everybody as they go out. So we're in the back, so we're kind of first, and my aunt is there trying to explain what's going on to the priest who isn't really getting it. It's like, my brother died, Austin. Do you remember Austin? He's like, oh, Austin. Oh, I do. Was he the tall man with the black hair? No. Austin, my brother. He was, and this is going on, and the queue is getting longer for the people who want to talk to the priest, and the priest had in his like he was holding over his forearm this pack of leaflets of they're the missals or the program, if you will, for the Sunday Mass, and it has it has the hymns and it has the Bible verses. And then, as with some churches, and this is a fairly established church at St. Patrick's in Nashua, there's a program. There's adverts. They sell adverts to raise money for the church. So they sell adverts in the back. And as I was sitting there listening to my aunt yammer on, or trying to trigger the priest's memory, I looked on the back of the missal, the program, and there was a very clear advert for my aunt's ex-husband. And I'm not, I said the thing about the names. But, okay, aunt's ex-husband. And he's a lawyer. So he's like, you need help with law, And it just struck me. Because what had happened is that and it was very messy, so I'll also be probably part of the hell vlog or whatever, I write it or whatever. But they had a really messy divorce, which is what triggered my father to go up to New Hampshire in the first place to kind of help out my aunt, his sister. But he was not a malicious person. I mean, I'm sure they behaved terribly towards each other. Like as everyone does in a breakup. It's hard to get out of that with grace. But my family, as a result, had kind of ostracized him. I have some cousins who have reached out to him. But I took this as a sign, and I called him up, and I said, I got a secretary, and then he patched in, Ian? I said, yep, it's me. My dad passed, and I wanted to call and say, no, you were always very kind to me. You were always very, like I was a pain in the ass child, and you were always very generous with me, and I'm sorry if, stuff between you and your ex, my aunt, if it made things awkward or weird. You know, but you were always very kind to me, and I wanted to reach out and just say hello and thinking about you. And he really appreciated it. And you know, my cousin, the cousin who um, brought the bottle of whiskey, was just like a very gem of a person. I mean, much different than me. Than you know, just she grew up in New Hampshire, and she just has different aspirations and like, but just salt of the earth, you know. Uh, and but she really appreciated it because like it's got to be hard, like when your parents split and then the family chooses sides and stuff. I mean, that happened with me. It just happened a lot longer ago. So that's it. That's the thing that happened to me. Like I said, significant to me, not necessarily you. So and then I'll talk about day 7, and I gotta figure out day 7 and then the 40th day. That's probably the best. If I were you, I would just skip the next couple and go right to 40. Deuces, baby.